A woman in the news 15 years after she faked a cancer diagnosis is again accused of fraud. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Phil Lipoff. Back then, she conned an untold number of people into donating money for her treatment.
Kevin Vaughn from 9 News Investigates spent the day going through the woman's new criminal cases.
This is Ann Kroll in 2011, charged in Jefferson County with fraud, forgery, and multiple counts of theft. And that's her walking into court, where she admitted she faked a cancer diagnosis and raked in nearly $60,000 from friends, members of her church, and others who wanted to help. In court, she apologized. "I hurt people I love the most. It's horrible, disgusting, beyond comprehension. I'm very, very sorry." Initially given probation, she ended up in prison after forging more documents, was released on parole, had that revoked, and went back to prison again. This is Ann Kroll today, after her most recent arrest, her 18th according to documents obtained by 9 News Investigates. She currently faces felony charges in 4 separate pending cases, alleging car theft, forgery, and insurance fraud. No surprise to 9 News legal analyst Scott Robinson.
In criminal law, once a fraudster, usually always a fraudster.
Those cases don't even include this. Last month in Denver, she pleaded guilty to theft of $5,000 to $20,000, using a forged driver's license and a closed bank account to rent a condo. A detective called it a clear-cut case of check fraud. And with 4 felony convictions already on her record, she could be looking at a long prison sentence if she's convicted in her other cases.
An individual who has multiple prior felonies, especially of the same type of crime, is going to get the book thrown at them, purely and simply. I would predict maximum sentencing in any case from here on out.
Ann Kroll is behind bars in Jefferson County, being held on 3 separate felony cases there. In 2 of those cases, she's accused of using fraudulent pay stubs and checks to buy cars. In the other, it's alleged that she paid the security deposit on a rental property using a bad check. She's scheduled to be in court Wednesday on one of the auto theft cases, and hearings on those other 2 cases and another one in Prowers County in January. Live in the newsroom, Kevin Vaughn, 9 News.
Kevin, most of us remember that first one so well because, you know, anyone that fakes a diagnosis that is the worst thing that can come into someone's life is just, it's a really deplorable thing to do. But wow, she's had a lot.
Yeah, Kim, and you'll remember she was married to a Lakewood police officer, and a number of the people that were bilked in that scam were other Lakewood police officers that thought they were donating to help her with her medical treatment.
Oh my goodness. All right. That's upsetting. Okay, thank you, Kevin.
So it sounds like a broken record, but the best kind. It sure doesn't feel like a December day. Plenty of people out and about. Sloan's Lake right here, enjoying the warmer weather in shorts and T-shirts. I mean,
or no shirt. That guy has no shirt.
Yeah, a lot of that around Sloan's Lake.
Okay.
Yeah, just, you know.
If you're ready for it.
Jogging and, yeah, go for it. It's just that kind of, and this is what, day 7 or something like that in a row, Kathy?
Yeah, and it's, you know, for those of us that have lots of running around to do, lots of errands, or maybe you're traveling, or you have family coming in, I mean, this weather is great because it's a crazy time of year, but it doesn't feel right. And everywhere I go, people are asking what is going on. It's very unusual to have a prolonged period of warm, dry weather like this in one of our snowier months, December in Denver, and winter begins on Sunday. So maybe a new season, a new weather pattern. But today, smooth travel on I-25. Temperatures in record territory. We just tied the record of 68 degrees. This record set back in 1921. Average highs this time of year are in the low to mid 40s. Mountain travel is great, and some good news there. We might see a little bit of mountain snow midweek, so at least some part of the state will get some beneficial moisture. 65 degrees currently in Denver, almost 70 at Rocky Ford, 40s in Eagle, Aspen, and Vail this afternoon. And the big story this week will be the wind. The wind is going to be increasing on Wednesday, elevated fire danger. We have a fire weather watch out for Denver and the Front Range on Wednesday, along with a high wind watch where we could see gusts again in excess of 60 and 70 miles per hour. Not a lot of moisture coming in for Denver, but there is a weather system to the north that may just bring some mountain snow midweek. I think at this point we'd be happy to see anything. So the temperature trend really comfortable over the course of the next few hours. Weather headlines will have that extended forecast in detail and much more on the mountain snow.
Thanks, Kathy. In preparation for those windy and dry conditions, Xcel may shut off power in fire-prone areas along the Front Range on Wednesday. Xcel taps into its power safety power shutoff plan when wildfire risk is high. The company also expects to activate its enhanced power line safety settings. It makes power lines more sensitive, and they could turn off if something falls on the line, like, for instance, a tree branch. A man will face life in prison for killing 2 people along the South Platte Riverbank bike path in 2023. Today, a judge sentenced Tanner Fielder to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He was convicted in October of 2 counts of first-degree murder. This happened back in September of 2023. Fielder shot and killed 2 people along the trail in 2 separate incidents.
Today, a vigil was held at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, remembering the 15 people killed in a mass shooting there yesterday. Mourners filled that area where the shooting took place yesterday, just as many in the Jewish community there in Sydney and around the world were celebrating the first night of Hanukkah. Australian officials have determined it was a deliberate anti-Semitic attack by 2 men and labeled it an act of terrorism. The death toll could have been higher if not for this man, Ahmed al-Ahmed. He wrestled a gun away from one of the shooters, saving countless lives. Super heroic. He was shot by the other gunman in the course of that, now recovering, of course, being called a hero.
In Rhode Island, the search continues for the person who shot and killed 2 people at Brown University on Saturday. Providence police released new video of a person of interest walking away from the Ivy League university. Late last night, officials said they had released a different person of interest that they had previously detained, saying that evidence pointed them in a different direction. Rhode Island's Attorney General said the shooter should still be considered armed and dangerous. 2 students were killed and 9 others were injured in that shooting.
As the entertainment world continues to mourn actor and director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle, police say his son Nick has been arrested in connection to their deaths. The Reiners were found dead yesterday in their California home with stab wounds. 32-year-old Nick Reiner has openly talked about his struggles with drug addiction and homelessness. He actually wrote a 2016 movie loosely based on his life that his father directed. The death of Rob Reiner has stunned, shocked Hollywood stars and his fans across the world. Coming up a little later in the hour, we're going to take a look back at his life and his legacy.
It feels like flu season is particularly bad this year. Maybe you're saying that? Well, if so, you're not wrong. This is the CDC's map of doctors' visits for flu-like illnesses. Colorado is one of the 3 worst states in the country right now. CDPHE confirmed an elementary school-age child in the metro area died last week. Doctors say the best way to protect yourself is to get that flu shot. It's not too late, and if you're feeling sick, make sure you stay home.